guys, this is Casey's Raw again, and today we're going to talk about wrestling. We're going to talk about another episode of Season 4, I think this is Episode 6, of Dark Side of the Ring. This one is about Adrian Adonis. The most I remember Adrian Adonis was from the adorable Adrian Adonis from WrestleMania 3 when it was supposed to be Roddy Piper's retirement match at WrestleMania 3. But he pretty much had his version of the Piper Pit called the Flower Shop. But before that, what they said, he was from Buffalo, New York. And his whole gimmick was, especially when he was in the Midwest, that he would wear New York related stuff like New York Yankees emblem on his leather jacket and heavily looked like from New York. Mainly from Manhattan area. Mean streets. And he did that whole gimmick pretty much until he went to WWF. But he was part of AWA before that. I believe he was part of a tag team. And I think he was with... I know one of the tag teams he was with Jesse the Body Ventura. And he was doing that gimmick as heel. I would assume he went through the whole heel gimmick as the wrestler and brawler from New York. And, he was pretty brutal in the ring. He'll get pretty bloody. He was pretty stiff with the other wrestlers. He would actually literally hit them all the time and very rough. So, even when he went to WWF, he was still doing the whole gimmick with, the biker gimmick / New York gimmick. But, when you're in the Northeast, that's not a really big deal because, that's New York. But, they were, honestly, before we get to Adrian, the adorable Adrian Adonis, honestly, they had to talk about the drug and alcohol scene during the 80s. And it was well known that most of the wrestlers would do coke, marijuana, and drink alcohol. And they would say that Adrian Adonis would do coke all the time. When you're need some, like, these wrestlers have this vicious circle where they need something when they get out of bed to get them up and going, so they get hit the gym, go to the arena, do their wrestling, and then they'll hit and do their partying, and then they're going to want something to bring them down so they can actually try to sleep. And it's just a vicious circle. So, he was caught into that. I knew he died early in his life. But, he didn't die through drugs or alcohol. He died from a car accident. And he was not even the one driving. There was 3 other wrestlers with him. 3 out of 4 wrestlers died. There was a tag team wrestlers. They were identical twins, and one of the twins died, and one of them survived the crash. the other wrestler, I don't remember what his name was, but Adrian Adonis didn't die immediately in the crash, but he was dying. Two of the wrestlers who did die died in the car crash almost immediately. So, they were saying that he led pretty much two different lives. He had this coke and alcohol fueled lifestyle when he was on the road wrestling. But when he was home, he was a family man. His late wife would say that like he was completely different from his character. So it's good that he was able to keep family and wrestling separate. Because a lot of times when you have wrestling and family or like spouses in wrestling, a lot of times that does not work out. I mean, look at Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth. They got divorced. God, there's so many people. I mean, you had Matt Hardy and Lita. They weren't married, but they were a long-term couple. Eventually, you know, when Matt Hardy I'm pretty sure when Lita got injured, Edge was seeing her around as a friend, and Matt Hardy got injured, and they were riding together, and it bloomed a relationship. So, it's just easy for wrestlers to marriages and relationship not survive in the wrestling business. There's some that are able to do it. I mean, look at Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. But you could also turn around and say, look at Triple H and China. I mean, those two were a couple before he got together with Stephanie McMahon. And because of wrestling split Triple H and China apart. Well, to this day, for what? God, I would say 20 years now. They've been together for Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. Definitely over 20 years. So, but a lot of times wrestling and relationships don't work. So a lot of times if they keep it separate, it's good. But you could see the exact opposite though too. You had it where like in the Ultimate Warrior episode where Ultimate Warrior was married, but his wife was not with him on the road, but he was fooling around with other women. So it's a double-edged sword. There's not a perfect solution for relationship and wrestlers. You just hope they are able to the relationship to survive. So with that said, let's get back to the Adrian Adonis. They were talking about how he pretty much took elements from Gorgeous George. They were saying Gorgeous George was the first pretty much gay wrestler. I would say I can understand. I know Gorgeous George, when he was doing his gimmick, he would throw bobby pins. But I think, to me, I think he was doing more as he was trying to be like he's Hollywood. While, and if you really think about it, with, Gorgeous George and the adorable Adrian Adonis, if you mix them together, you almost have Goldust right there. So, and people, WWF was trying to obviously play into it, saying, Goldust was gay. They wouldn't say it, but they played into it. And on Dark Side of the Ring, they said that he stood up on a talk show with Vince, and Adrian said that he's going to just say he's gay. So, I didn't actually hear that. I think they had someone say that over that. Look at that. Sorry about that, guys. Give me a second. This is the reason why that door opened. This little guy's lonely, so he comes in every once in a while. The whole barge right through the door. So I'm gonna just hold him while I finish this up. So, he eventually was signed with the WWF. He did his biker gimmick, cut like brawler gimmick. And, eventually Vince said that he needed to change his character to the adorable Adrian Adonis. And was funny. Oh, God, I'm trying to remember. Oh, it was Roddy Piper says he's the only man who would wear makeup and still look like a man. So, I could see that gimmick getting over, but sadly he was gaining weight because the issues from drugs and stuff he was dealing with, and then when he got when he left WWF, he went to the independents or the territory, and he gained a lot of weight, and he was still kind of doing the gimmick with the adorable Adrian Adonis, but he gained over 100 pounds. He was 400 pounds, and he was heavy, bro. And when he was doing the adorable Adrian Adonis, he said he was never going to go back to his biker gimmick again. He's retiring the others. And he eventually came back to as his biker gimmick in the territories, but sadly, he was getting in shape. Someone told him you need to get it together so you could, so you can make your return. I think that was Bret Hart saying that, but sadly, he was in great shape. They showed him with a good picture of him. He looked probably the best shape he'd been in years. And sadly, shortly after that, that's when he got in that car accident and died. So, it's a good episode. I highly suggest it. So, yeah, I give this one 7 out of 10. Maybe 7.5 out of 10. So, I highly suggest you guys check it out. It's a very good episode. It is now on YouTube. If you want to buy it, I suggest not to watch the pirate version. Not because give them their money, because the reason is the pirate versions are going to look like shit. They're going to either have some weird footage where they'll just keep replaying the same scene over and over and over, or they'll go zoom in, zoom out, zoom in, zoom out, so they can get around the copyright. So it'll look horrible. So if you just pay $2, it's standard definition, but it doesn't look that bad. Especially if you're watching on the phone or on TV. You can't tell the difference, really. Or you pay $1 more and get HD. I always say this, season 1, 2, and 3 is on Hulu, but season 4 takes a while before they finally put it on there. So don't think it's automatically on Hulu. It takes time. I wouldn't doubt it. It would take until the end of the year for them finally add them onto Hulu. So, if you want to watch it on Vice. If you have the channel Vice on your cable, then that's probably the best way you can go is free. But you can do it on their website on Vice TV and put in your cable information and you can watch it free through there, or you can use free passes. Same thing on their app, but I like to go just pay $2 on YouTube and have it in my library so I can watch it later on. So, yeah, I give it a 7.5 out of 10. It's good. I really like this season like usual. Like, I like Dark Side of the Ring a lot better than Tales from the Territory. And I think they're trying to be a little bit more careful this season than they were in Season 3, because Season 3, they burnt a lot of bridges. So, hopefully they'll continue with more seasons. So, I think we're up to, 4 more episodes. So, there's some still good ones. I know my co-host on Friday is Raw. He can't wait for the WCW Bash at the Beach 2000. And I can't wait for that one. And Marty Jannetty episode. That'd be an interesting episode. So, that's pretty much it, guys. So, I'll talk to you guys later. See you. Bye.